How are we doing, guys? Leeds United 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 1, post-match reaction to the game. Absolute madness. I think the one word I'd use for that game is manic. Absolutely manic, that game of football. 34 shots in the game, drama, quality, chaos. And yeah, apologies about the lighting first of all. It's not the best, I will be honest, but I have just come back from the game, so please forgive me for that. Apologies for that, guys. So, what can I say about today that's any different to Leeds United's season? Anything new that we've learnt today from Leeds United's season? Anything different we've seen today from Leeds United's season? Absolutely nothing new. Late equaliser, error for the goal, some chaotic passing, some really, really daft decisions, moments of quality, moments of endeavour, unbelievable Ellen Road atmosphere again. Just everything. It was like Leeds United's season in one game today. It was just absolutely mad. And yeah, I've got a couple of notes because I've had to take notes because the game's just been a blur, really. There's so many different things have happened in the game. It's been a fantastic game of football in its own right, and it's a massive point for us, or what we hope will be a massive point for us at the end of the season. But yeah, let's get into it anyway. So today, the starting 11, it looked like we changed into a 4-2-3-1 system. It looked like Robin Koch was at right back, Diego Llorente, Liam Cooper as the centre-backs, Junior Firpo at left-back, Calvin and Klich in the midfield, and then Raphinha on the right, Harrison on the left, Rodrigo in the 10, and Joffy Gelhart up top. So yeah, it was a different system to the Chelsea game. It looked like we went for like a 5-2-3 against Chelsea, or a 3-5-2, whichever way you want to put it. It was a 5/3 at the back system, but today we went back to the back four. And my hot take is we're much, much better in the back four system. Certainly second half, I think we look a lot better defensively in that shape. I think it's a lot simpler, and I think that's the thing we have to do now. Go back to basics, and that's what we did today in many ways, especially second half. We went back to the basics. Raphinha was up against the touchline again. He was wide. He was where we wanted him to be. Not central, wide. Jack Harrison the same. Yes, Jack Harrison was less effective than Raphinha. In fact, Raphinha himself probably didn't have his best game, but it looked better. We created some clear-cut chances today. We haven't been able to do that in recent weeks. Yeah, we've had a lot of chances today, really, and that's good to see. It's encouraging. Again, with 2 games to go, we needed more today, though. That's the one thing I will go into. We got the bare minimum today. You know, as much as it's fantastic to get a late equaliser, we did the bare minimum today, and we got away with it a little bit today because Burnley and Everton have both dropped points, albeit I still think Everton will be okay. Really, I think it's a straight shootout between us and Burnley in this last week or so of the season. But massive goal, no doubt about it, a massive goal. But let's just be sure here, we did the minimum today. You know, if we won the game today, how much better would it have looked? But look, that might be me being a little bit more negative. But I did like what I saw in the second half. But I'm going to have to talk about the first half because the first half wasn't great. It was nowhere near good enough. Nowhere near good enough from Leeds United, that first half. Yeah, first 15 or so minutes we started quite well. But the way Brighton were moving the ball around, and let's caveat it, Brighton have had a superb season. Brighton are one of the best footballing sides outside that top 6. And to be honest with you, they're a better footballing side than many of the teams in the top 6, really, I'd argue. Certainly, yeah, well, I won't go into naming teams and that lot because this is a Leeds United post-match reaction. But yeah, it just didn't look right at all. You know, obviously, Solly March was making runs off the touchline. Alexis McAllister was making runs off the touchline. And we weren't tracking them. Third-man runs into the box as well. We didn't track them at all. And defensively, we were struggling a lot. We needed some really, really poor finishing off Brighton. 1 or 2 decent saves off Illan Meslier. And yeah, as much as we were okay first 15 minutes, we have the first big chance of the game. Again, something else that sums up the season. Joffy Gelhart, it falls to him in the box off a set piece, and it's hit Liam Cooper straight in the face. So it sums up our season. You know, it's a minute into the game, and how different could the game have been had that gone in? But look, it's if buts and maybes. Simple as that. We weren't good enough in the first half. There's no doubt about that at all. Jesse Marsh has alluded to that himself. So, you know, I'm not being harsh there. You know, that was what the Leeds United head coach also felt. But what did we change? Again, I thought we went back to basics. I've already said it. We had the wide players wide. Calvin and Klich, I thought, worked better together. I think they kind of split defensive responsibility. Calvin was picking up the ball from the back four. He was able to spray passes out wide to Harrison, spraying passes out wide to Raphinha. We were seeing that passing range from Calvin in the second half. Defensively, you know, I think it was less man-to-man marking. it did feel like we went to a bit of a man-to-man marking system in sort of the first half and that. Like we kind of tried to match our back four to Brighton's front four kind of thing, but we kind of started to mark more zonally. And listen, that was the big thing about Marcelo Bielsa, the problem of man-to-man marking and this and that. But we actually felt like in the first half we went to a man-to-man marking system, but we changed it. We didn't keep trying to follow the runs late. We were in the space already. We were marking zones kind of thing. We were waiting for Solly March to run into the zone, waiting for Alexis McAllister to run into the zone, rather than trying to chase them into areas where they might run. When we're trying to man-to-man mark and that lot, it was a lot better in that second half. Again, these are little slight changes we made, but they made a difference. Again, ultimately, having said all this, all the things we adapted, it all came down to one man, Joffy Gelhart. Unbelievable. The one thing about Joffy Gelhart is he creates hope. He creates hope for the Leeds United fan base, even when things look absolutely terrible, like they have done at times this season. It did today. It looks in a horrendous place with 10 minutes to go in the game. Obviously there's chance against the board. Marcelo Bielsa chance. All these different bits and pieces. It was not a happy place to be with 10 minutes to go in the game. And then Joffy Gelhart produces one unbelievable moment of quality. You can't coach what Joffy Gelhart did. I can't even describe it, how good the skill is. To get around Lewis Dunk, I think it was. And it's massive. But Ellen Rose was in a bad place at that time. Certainly in that time in the game. But how many times has Joffy Gelhart done that for us? I can go back as far as the Wolves home game back in October when he wins us the penalty. The goal against Norwich, coming on against Burnley for what could be a crucial win, in the start of the year against Burnley. I think it's like January the 2nd or whatever it was. Anyway, one of our last wins under Marcelo Bielsa, and massive impact off the bench off Joffy Gelhart. But one thing I would say is that there's been a lot of debate about Joffy Gelhart's best position. Is he a lone centre forward? Is he a second striker? Is he a number 10? Is he a striker who can only play in a two up top system? I don't think Joffy Gelhart has a best position. I think Joffy Gelhart's best position is a free role. Let Joffy play the game as he sees it. Let him drift into the spaces. Let him interpret the game himself. I think he's a special talent, Joffy Gelhart. Listen, I'm not going to put too much pressure on Joffy Gelhart in terms of what he could be next season, what he could be in the future and all this lot. His best position for me is a free role, where he's not having to stick to one position. He can drift and play the game as he sees it. If you look at Joffy Gelhart's heat map, he's sometimes on the right wing, he's sometimes on the left wing, he's sometimes through the middle, he's sometimes picking up number 10. High, deep, he's picking the ball up everywhere, and that's what he's best at. That is Joffy Gelhart's best games to come, when he's been playing in a bit more of a free role, and then the likes of Rodrigo, Harrison, Rafinha have been a bit more fixed in their positions. And that was the big thing with Rafinha and Harrison, as I've already said. We kept them wide, we kept the play stretched. It was good to see. There was an outlet this time. Calvin, Matthijs Klick had outlets to pick up. Junior Firpo, I think he saw a couple of times. Second half, to be honest with you, was one of Junior Firpo's best games for Leeds. Look, there'll be some comments in there about that. There's not been a lot to choose from for Junior Firpo. Look, it's not happened for Junior Firpo this season, but second half, much better. He had an outlets pick out. His passing looked good. I think everyone's passing looked better in the second half, because we were able to stretch the pitch, create more space, and just really stretch Brighton from time to time, and it was good to see. But I can't look away from that first half. The first half, it still shows us areas to improve, but full credit to Jesse Marsch. He made little changes, he made good substitutions, and it got us back into the game. And listen, the one thing I want to say as well is that this thing about Jesse Marsch hasn't given Gelhart enough chances. Let's be honest, Jesse Marsch has been one of the first managers has been the first manager who's managed Joffy Gelhart and giving him starts. Obviously Paul Cook, Marcelo didn't give Joffy Gelhart that many starts. Jesse has trusted him, and fair play to him. Look, albeit there's been a lot of injuries, he's had no choice, but he's still giving them chances. Even when Dan James has been available, he's given Joffy Gelhart the odd chance. And Joffy has to play every week for me. I genuinely am going that far now. I think he has to play every week. Albeit he should have played every week. It's no good me saying that now. There's only a game to go of the season, but I think Joffy is showing enough fearlessness in a relegation battle. Something exactly what you need, really. He's delivered those moments. And yeah, Ellen Rowe once again. Look, it was frustration, I thought, with 10 minutes to go, and I think it's frustration in terms of obviously the chance against the board and this lot. You've got to say, 37 games into the season, that team has been backed unbelievably. It was backed unbelievably today. Leeds United fans, we pay our money. You've got your rights to have your opinion on things. And it's just very, very clear to me that no matter what happens this season, things have got to change. You know, lessons have got to be learned from this season. Lessons have got to be learned, because I think the fan base has been unbelievably supportive of everyone at the football club, and there's absolutely no doubt about that. They've been the constant this season. In a season of a lot of uncertainty, the fans have been absolutely fantastic. So absolutely no criticism for me at all about the chance. You know, no matter what the timing was and this lot, fans have got the right to have an opinion on that. And look, it's been 37 games into the season with 10 minutes to go. There's no question about the fans at all. And it's just because I've seen one or two things on Twitter about it. It's rubbish for me. Personally, I just think it's absolute rubbish. I think the fans have been phenomenal this season. And if your hot take is criticising the fans for a couple of chances towards the end of the game, then I don't know. It's a hot take for a reason, because it's just not. It's just spot off for me in that kind of sense. But yeah, guys, write in your comments your man of the match. I thought everyone in the second half was on it. I just think it's been a frustrating season, but let's just hope it has a happy end and we can ultimately achieve survival. But look, we could possibly go into that Brentford game needing to win, but at least we have put the ball back in Burnley's court, which I think was the minimum today. We have done the bare minimum. I'll keep emphasising that. I'm not fully happy, to be totally honest with you. I think the game was there for the taking had we been better in the first half. But there's little signs of encouragement going into that Brentford game, and we'll see. I think that's all I can kind of say. But for me, the team that finished that game in the second half, Pascal at left back, albeit Junior Firpo played okay, that has to be the team that starts the game at Brentford, other than probably Robin Koch for Jamie Shackleton at right back or whoever's available.